What is going on, YouTube? It has been almost a month since I've uploaded content on YouTube, and I have to apologize. It's been a really busy few weeks now, and so I figured the very least that I could do is do a YouTube live stream and just kind of update you guys and um, let you guys know what's going on and hopefully catch up with some of you. So first and foremost, I'm here in New York City. I'm going to be here for the rest of the week for a bunch of great events. This week, Sony is doing their Creative Space event, so I will be there. Um, and I'm also here for Photo Plus here in New York City. So tomorrow, if you are in the New York City area, from let's see, from I've got to talk at 10:30 at the Best Buy stage, 1 o'clock and 3:30 with Best Buy, and then from 7 to 10 tomorrow night, I'm going to be at the Sony Creative Space. B&H is doing an event with them. It's like a creator evening with Sony. And so I'll be doing presentations or demos and things like that at the Sony Creative Space. And then I will be around doing some talks on the Photo Plus floor. So if you go to miguelquiles.com/workshops, I'm going to try to put my whole schedule. I intended to tell everyone where I was going to be and what times and all that stuff, and I just can't remember it all. So yeah, so I'll just put it on the website, make it a little bit easier for those of you who are here in New York to be able to come by and to say hello. So let me see if let me just make sure that the chat is on here. Perfect. So if you guys are watching this live stream right now, let me know where you are watching this from. And so I'll probably be on here for maybe, I don't know, maybe for a few minutes today. I really just wanted to touch base with everyone because it's been, like I said, it's been almost a month since I've been able to upload a video. And so I've got a bunch of content that's on the way. I have one that I teased. If you're in my Facebook group, which I hope you guys have all joined, it's Improve Your Photography with Miguel Quiles on Facebook. I shared like a little teaser, but I have a video that is coming out that's going to be a lot of fun. If you grew up in the 80s, you'll get the references that I'm going to kind of have in this video. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to talk about the things that I believe that every photographer should have in their kit. So it should be a pretty fun video. Let's see. So got some people commenting here. Let's see where you guys are watching from. So Jenny, hello from Sacramento, California. Hey, speaking of, hi Jenny. Sacramento, California. So next month, I'm going to be for the very first time in LA doing an event with Sammy's. It's November. The dates that I'm there is the 7th to the 10th, but if you go to Sammy's website, they've got the whole schedule listed, and you'll get to see the times and the dates that I'll be speaking. I'm doing a photo walk, retouching class, like a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to be wicked fun. So hopefully, I don't know where Sacramento is in comparison to LA, but if you get the opportunity, definitely go. It'll be fun to meet you in person. Mike from Detroit, how's it going? Martin, South Padre Island, very cool. Kim, Haya from Brooklyn, will be at the Sony Creative Space tomorrow. Awesome. Come say hi. I won't be there during the day because I'm going to be at Photo Plus, but if you're there in the evening for the B&H event, I will be there from 7 to 10. So definitely say hi. Wendy, how are you? From Richfield, Ohio. Good to see you. I feel like it's been forever. It's been like a whole month since I saw you. Good to see you out there. Alex, your tips have been amazingly useful. I hope to connect with you really soon. Big fan from Astoria. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the kind words. Appreciate the support. Really sorry that I haven't been able to upload some content here in the last few weeks. But trust me, I have a lot of really cool stuff coming soon. So just got to get through this week. Let's see. James, hi from London, England. Hello. Let's see. N. Thomas Payne, greetings from North Carolina. How are you? Let's see. SRB 980, Miguel, what's up? Love your work from H-Town. Go Stros. Very cool. How is it over there? My sister lives in Kingwood. How's the? I feel like recently I was reading in the news they had like some more flooding in Houston, or maybe I'm just imagining things. Hopefully everything is okay down there. Anyway, so I'm here in New York City. I'm in this hotel room that's like got this amazing, beautiful view. However, it is New York and it is really loud, and there's traffic and horns and ambulance and police, and oh man, it's hard to sleep out here. But check this out. I don't know if you guys can see. This is my view out of the window, and then of course street level. But beautiful, beautiful view. Like I've been sleeping with the windows open every night just because it's just, look at that. I mean, outside of the reflection from the room, it's beautiful out there. Let's see. Salima, how are you? See you at Photo Plus. Awesome. It'll be good to catch up. Michael from Huntsville, Alabama. Love your work, and I love NYC. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the kind words. NYC is pretty cool. It's a pretty exceptional place. Um, yeah, this week I don't know. I've been struggling with like a little bit of a cold. I had plans last week to shoot a video, and then I shot a video on last week Monday. See, speaking of, that's New York for you. Anyway, I shot a video on Monday, basically shot the B-roll, and then I planned on shooting like the teaching portions or whatever. And yeah, the my voice was just starting to get kind of crazy. I had a bit of a cold, and then sure enough, like it's still lingering. I feel fine, but my nose is acting a little bit crazy. So hopefully by the time this week is done, my voice will be back and I'll be able to do some videos and not sound like I sound right now. I don't mind doing it for these live streams because usually for the YouTube lives, I take them down or I make them private afterwards. So if you're watching now, thanks for watching. But I usually take them down because, when people come to the channel, I want them to see the like actual produced content that I made for them rather than this where I'm just kind of like catching up with everyone. So but I wanted to ask you all, and I also see, let's see, Norm from North California. Awesome. Hello. I wanted to ask you all, for those of you that are watching, so I have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to be working on over the next few weeks, content-wise for the YouTube channel. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to ask you all, since you're here in the live stream, I wanted to know what type of content that you wanted to see from me that I haven't done already, whether it be maybe there was a topic that I started to cover that you want covered from a different angle, or you want it to be covered more in depth. What is it out there that you all want to know that you think I could help you with? And so if you can let me know in the comment section, that's going to be something that I'm going to be focusing on over the next few weeks. So definitely want to know. Like I said, some of the stuff that I have going, I've got a really fun video where I'm going to be talking about some items that I think that every photographer should have in their arsenal. And it's not like like you have to have this camera and this lens and that type of stuff. It's practical things that I think will make your life a little easier. Sorry, excuse me. And then I have another video, actually a pair of videos. One is going to be talking about the trends that I think that maybe you should try to avoid if you're going to pursue portrait photography and you want to kind of move ahead and as I say in my group to improve your photography. There's certain trends that are out there that I think that you should probably try to avoid if you want to get better. So that's a video that I have coming up. And on the flip side, I have a video where I'm going to be covering some really cool props that you guys can pick up at uh, online, through Amazon or whatever, that are really cool props that I've been personally really excited to do some photo shoots with. And so I'm going to show you guys like my top 5 favorite props that I found through Amazon that you can use for your own photo shoots that might just give you a little bit of an extra creative boost. So all the stuff actually, I left Jersey for New York on Monday, and sure enough, this always happens, but I tried to schedule it so that the stuff would get there and I could have it. And then while I'm here in New York, I could do some photo shoots with whatever the accessories were. And wouldn't you know it, I leave the house, and within like 20 minutes while I'm on the way here, the stuff arrives at my house. So, and I'm not going back home until Sunday. So, yes. So, all of those cool accessories that I was hoping to maybe get a photo shoot in here in New York, it's not going to happen. So, but it should be a great video once it's all done. I'm pretty excited to put that one together. Wendy says, feel better soon. I hope I do. I need to. Let's see. Joelle, can't wait for tomorrow. Yeah, definitely. If you're around, definitely come by and say hello. Gordon, the way you did the Spider-Man shoot and your process behind shooting with one or more lights was extremely helpful. More videos like that with maybe shooting models indoors and outdoors can be helpful. Yeah, thank you. That Spider-Man video was a ton of fun. Like, that was one where as soon as he told me, when Trevor said, hey, I have this like awesome Spider-Man outfit, do you want to shoot it? I'm like, dude, don't bring anything else. Don't bring clothing and like fancy suit jackets and stuff. I'm like, just bring the Spider-Man outfit. We're gonna do some cool stuff with that. So that was one video that I was really excited to be able to shoot and to have some kind of like video teaching around that shoot. It was so fun. It was such a fun shoot. I definitely hope to do some more. But as far as doing more content around that, I plan on it. I actually have had an initiative for my YouTube channel specifically since the beginning of this year, and it's been an off and on thing, and I haven't been as committed to it as I probably should be. But I wanted to get outdoors and do a lot more location stuff with natural light, with off-camera flash, with just a variety of different tools and using different techniques to take photos on location. And I found like 3 or 4 really epic locations in New Jersey, and I've been wanting to go there. One of which is like this amazing waterfall. It's actually not in New Jersey, it's in Pennsylvania, but it's like right there. And unfortunately didn't get a chance to go there when the weather was nice, and now it's like in the 50s and high 60s. And so yeah, I would like to go, but it's just going to be a bit of a challenge trying to find a model that's going to be cool with being in probably what's going to be like ice cold water, in the 60s for a photo shoot. But if I could find someone really good that's willing to do it, I will hopefully have that video up this year. Salima, what is your must-have equipment when traveling? So when I travel, it really depends on what I'm doing. So if I'm like this week, for example, doing presentations and stuff like that, I was hoping to be able to shoot some content while I'm here in New York, but I'm not sure how it's going to work out. But usually the gear that I bring with me, I usually have like 3 to 4 kind of general purpose lenses. So I'll have like, my 24 to 70, my 16 to 35, and then depending on how much space I have, I might take my 70 to 200, but usually I'll take my 85 and my 135, or take my 100 and my 135, or my 90 macro and my 135. So some combination of that. But I try to have like a wide angle lens, kind of a walk around 24 to 70 lens, and then I'll just fill the gaps with, some really good prime lenses. This time around for this show, again, because I was hoping to shoot some videos, I brought my microphones, my wireless mics. I brought my gimbal with me so I could try to get some new footage. I got this AK 4500 from Fayutech. It's this like beast of a gimbal, and I've been using it all week, and I'm kind of putting it through its paces to get some content out there for you guys. And I even went out. So here's the bad thing: when you go to New York and when you travel, I can't even say it's when I go to New York, because it's just when I travel in general. I always feel like I always leave stuff at home, or certain things will happen where I'm like, man, it'd be really cool to have fill in the blank. And then I end up having to go to a camera store and then go buy stuff. That happened today. So I have this boosted rev scooter, which I'm going to be making a video about pretty soon. But I've been riding it, and actually you could kind of see it in the reflection right there. I've been using it to get around town all week here in New York, and I left my RX Zeros at home. So I went to the store and I picked up this little guy. So I got the Osmo Action and a little mount for the scooter. So I want to try to get some footage this week of me kind of riding around and having a good time, and maybe I'll do a review of that as well. So, but yeah, those are the things that I usually bring. Good lenses, 3 or 4. Brought a couple of camera bodies. I bought 2 A7R4s, tripod, and ND filters, and rechargeable batteries, and I think that's pretty much it this time around. I went pretty light. Oh, and I brought flashes because tomorrow I'm going to be talking for Best Buy, and my presentation I'll be using flashes, so I had to bring those with me. So that's usually what I'll bring. Let's see. FIMI says, you gave me big motivation and power to do beauty photography. One of the best, your videos in my opinion. It was umbrella tips. Love the results. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really happy to hear that it's, that you watched it and that it was super helpful for you. I have another video that's in that same series of videos. So the first one I did was Beauty Dish. Second one that I did was the umbrella one, which is the one you're talking about. I have one that I am doing on softboxes, and then depending on how things go, I'm going to try to do one on parabolic softboxes. So it's kind of niche, but I feel like there's not a lot of content out there using those modifiers. So that'll be another one that, if all goes according to plan, hopefully in the next couple of months I'll be able to produce that. But the video on softboxes is going to be the next one that's in that series of the 5 ways that I use different modifiers. And then once I go through all of them, I'm going to revisit them, because obviously there's more than 5 ways that I would use any modifier. But I feel like if I do 5, it's enough to digest to where people can try it, and then hopefully once it's helped them, we can build off of that for later. So really happy to hear that that it's been helping you with your photography. Let's see, Addictive Brian, what would be your number 1 tip for someone that is starting out and is trying to grow an audience for their photography? So the biggest advice that I could tell you would be to utilize and to for a lack of better words, exploit every possible free opportunity and free outlet that you could possibly find to promote yourself and your photography. So one of the things that I've been telling people that come to my workshops and come to my events, and I'll say it here, there's no reason that if you're a photographer that you should not have a YouTube channel. Now, I'm not saying that you have to create educational content on your YouTube channel. teaching is not for everyone. Um, there's a lot of really talented people out there who could take a great photo, but they couldn't tell you how they did it. And so, that's where I say, like, the teaching side of things is not for everyone. However, there's a lot of value in creating behind the scenes content that shows how you work, that shows how you interact with your clients or interact with the people that you're shooting. So I would say, if you're at a bare minimum, you should have a YouTube channel. Obviously, Instagram would probably be second on that list, to make sure that you have an Instagram page that you maintain, that you post at least one photo a day, if possible. Keep up with the Instagram page, interact and comment on other people's photos, just be engaged in the community. And the same thing with YouTube. If you start a channel and you start posting and you start getting people commenting on your work, engage with those people that are posting. I try to take time out of the week, if I'm traveling, or, I'm on the bus, or sometimes I'm in a line at a grocery store, and I'll open up my YouTube app and I'm going through the comments and trying to reply to people. And unfortunately, there's a lot of trolls on YouTube. So, some of the time it's like it's spent where I could be spending the time thinking of thoughtful responses to true, valid questions. Instead, you get people that troll, that, will watch a 20-minute video and will nitpick that you said tomato instead of tomato. It's YouTube is a funny thing. So be prepared for that if you decide to take my advice. But the reality is that there's a lot of people, a lot of companies, brands, clients that will look for you before they decide to, hire you for a job. And they want to get an idea, especially if you're trying to charge any good amount of money. They want to know who they're dealing with ahead of time. So that's where YouTube comes in handy. Obviously, Instagram, I feel like that's like the website for most, photographers to put their creative work and stuff these days. But definitely, I would say utilizing every free social media outlet that's out there, and just sharing your work, sharing the interactions that you have with people, and that will pay off in time. It's not one of those things where you do it for a month and all of a sudden you got it made. Like, it takes time. I mean, this YouTube thing, I've been at this YouTube thing for, I think I uploaded my first video in like 2012, but realistically on this channel, I've been going relatively hard since January 2018. That's when I really sat down, because I've been making content for years for Adorama TV. So if you didn't know that, if you're on my channel, for almost 3 years, I created content for Adorama TV. So if you go there and you just search my name, you'll see the breakdown, and you'll see a bunch of videos there that I made for them over the years. But early 2018, I just decided that, I wanted to make my own channel and grow that, as well as I could, and have my own audience, as opposed to, having an audience, but the audience is not one that I can communicate with outside of, doing stuff with them. So, it's taken a little bit of time to try to build things up, but I could say honestly, I mean, I've had great opportunities to work with different companies, different brands, and if I wasn't on YouTube and I wasn't on Instagram, or both, I don't think those opportunities would have come. So, 100% do that. Long answer, but that would be the number one tip. Greetings from Amsterdam. Greetings. Norm says, just did a Sunset Beach maternity shoot yesterday and was freaking out trying to work in the rapidly changing light. How do you deal with that? Yeah, that's a battle. That's part of the challenge, I think, of shooting with available light, is that you're chasing light. You're trying to find pockets of great light that are available to you, and you're trying to take the photos the best that you can. So I think the biggest thing that will really help is just having a vision for what you want to do and what you want to get, so that once you get to the location that there is great light, that you can work quickly. There's so much value in learning how to work fast. And so I've been fortunate that over the years I've had opportunities, and they weren't opportunities that I set up to be this way, but I had photo shoots where I had, for example, like a test shoot with a model from New York that came to my studio in Jersey, and they would come in, and we'd be scheduled to shoot from like 1 to 3, for example, and their train is late, and so their train gets in at like 1:55 as opposed to 1. So now we have like less than an hour to shoot. So I've had times where it's like, okay, well, even though we're in the studio and I have my controlled lighting, we have certain looks we're going for. You have hair and makeup and all that has to be taken into account as well. And I just learned to shoot fast. I know what I want, or at least I have a good idea of what I want, and you just shoot it as quick as you possibly can. So that's really the key when you're shooting in available light, and especially when you're shooting during golden hour. You're on a clock. You don't have time to just hang out and chit chat and talk about the weather and what you did yesterday. And there's you could do that after the photo shoot, but during the photo shoot you have to get really good at just get quick. Get the shots that you want to get, be confident that you got it, and then on to the next thing. That's really the big thing. Work fast. Michael was saying V flats and a beauty dish. Yeah, that I actually did a photo shoot. If you look on Instagram, I did a photo shoot with Anna, who you would recognize because she's been on my channel. But we did a photo shoot, and I did some stuff with the V flat, and so yeah, check that out. Michael, loving my A7R4 and a lot of the Sony menus. Ugh. Yeah, man, A7R4 is a beast. And to be honest with you, the biggest thing that I could tell you, if you're finding the Sony menus to be cumbersome, first I would tell you, don't spend so much time in the menus. Set up the camera the way that you want to set it up. Realistically, unless you're hybrid shooting where you're doing stills and video, there's no reason why you should be in the menus at all. Like once you have your camera set up, it's set, it's ready to go. There's no purpose in being in the menus at that point, because everything that you want to change, you can change through the dials that are on the camera. But if you see that there's some part of your process that requires you to continue to go into the menus, either use your custom buttons to put the stuff that you're going to all the time, assign it to a custom button, or use the My Menu feature and save all of the things that you seem to go to often in the My Menu, and that way you don't have to dig through the menus. But to be honest, I mean, I've been shooting Sony since 2014, and so I got real comfortable with finding where stuff is in the menus. So yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like any other system. The longer that you spend kind of familiarizing yourself with the menus, you're going to get really good, and you'll find everything, and it'll be like muscle memory. So, but it's totally worth it. The A7R4 is a beast. I got 2 of them now. So, let's see. Johnny says, saludos, how are you? Juan says, Norm, flash, use flash. It will combat changing lights or a reflector. Yeah, I mean, you totally could use off-camera flash, but I think part of the magic of using natural light is that you don't have to bring a lot of stuff with you, So bringing off-camera flash is definitely an option, but again, it won't negate the advice that you still have to work fast because, obviously your off-camera flash shots, when you're balancing golden hour light at the beginning of golden hour versus midway through versus the very end, it's going to look a lot different. So yeah, having a flash definitely won't hurt. So that's good advice as well. Attic says, thank you. It was a great answer. I'm very appreciative. My pleasure. Happy to help. Gordon says, if you're shooting a portrait using a portable speedlight on camera, do you have any good starting point flash power wise in manual that you like to start off at? Quarter power, 1/8. Any tips on your process? Yeah. So here's the cool thing: the more that you shoot with off-camera flash, whether it be a speed light or a strobe or LEDs or whatever, the more that you do it, you get to a certain point where you can turn on your flash and you can guess where you need to be, and you usually land within like a half a stop of where you actually need to be. And it's a weird thing. Like it used to be before, I used to do demos and do workshops where I would set up the lighting from scratch, right? And I would always tell the group, I would say, listen, it's going to take me a few minutes to get the lights the way that I need to get it, but it's okay. So, like, when I take this first photo, don't freak out if it doesn't look good because we're going to fix it. And I want to show you how you fix it because the first time when I'm doing my own shoots in the studio, unless I've used my light meter and I meter all the lights, there's going to be some tweaking that happens with the lights. So usually the more that you do this, you start to get to the point where you just dial in the settings that you think are correct, and whether it be eighth power, quarter power, half power, whatever, based on the size of the modifier, based on the time of day, based on how close the modifier is to the subject, you usually can just guess. You'll land in the ballpark of where you need to be. But if I had to pick, you know, if I had to pick a flash setting, quarter power is always a good place to start, no matter what modifier, whatever situation, because it's rarely ever too bright to where you're just blowing out the image. So it's usually like really nice middle of the road place to start. Good question though. Let's see, William, you give very good advice, very inspiring. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try. Johnny says, thanks for sharing knowledge. My pleasure. Sorry that I have to do it through this congestion. I don't know if you could hear it, but yeah, trying to survive. Let's see. Michael says, I mean, you travel with them, helped you put them away at Pixel Fest in Cleveland. Let me go back to your first comment. Oh, V flats and a beauty dish. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That is true. I do remember that. Yeah, yeah, that was good times, man. Cleveland was a lot of fun. Pixel Fest. I brought them with me, and I don't even remember. Did I even do anything with the V flats? I don't know. I can't even remember. I'm floating in like medicine right now, so maybe I did. Norm says, Juan, I had flash, but just keeping that balance of ambient and flash was crazy combined with trying to shoot around the distractions. Let's see, messing with my preconceptions. Thanks, Miguel. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes bringing that flash, it could be a blessing and a curse. If you are not comfortable with off-camera flash and then you bring it with you and you're trying to mess with it and figure it out during the photo shoot, it could be a pain. So yeah, I mean, usually the best advice that I can give people is just learn how to work quick. Learn how to use your flash on your off time, like when you're not actually shooting somebody. The way that would look for me is I would take random everyday items and just put them on a counter and just take photos of them, and just play with the lighting, see what it looks like when I have the lights directly above versus to the left versus to the right. I just kind of toy around with it until I kind of see where it looks. And then when I do it the next time, I approach it. I look at, okay, the last time I did it, I really liked the way the light looked from here. So let me play with that. Let me start there because I know I like the way that looked. And let me modify it. Let me bounce it off a wall. Let me run it through like a diffusion panel. Let me try different modifiers, So you could try a bunch of different things, and then that way when you actually go to do a real photo shoot with a person, you've already tested all this stuff on like random objects, or if you have kids or pets or whatever, just practice so that when you get in front of people now you can work really quick because you know how your gear works. Let's see, Big Fat Effing Lenny says, hey, it me. How are you? Great name. Let's see, Mariano, hola Miguel. Saludos desde Córdoba, Argentina. It's good to see you. Carmen, thank you. I've learned so much from you. Thank you. Very nice to hear. Ed says, hey. Henry, Henry asks, what's your favorite modifier outdoors? Favorite modifier outdoors or indoors, because it's pretty much the same, would be an octa. So whether it be 3 foot to 5 foot octa, if I have somebody with me that can hold the modifier, then I'm bringing a 5 foot octa. If I am by myself and I just have a light stand and some sandbags or whatever, then it'll be a 3 foot octa. So, matter of fact, Profoto makes a 2 foot OCF octa that I used at Condo, the Sony Condo event, and I did a photo shoot, which you see the video on. Let's see, that was the natural light one. So that's on Dan and Sally Watson's YouTube channel, and I think I shared it a while back. But I did that photo shoot with a B10 Plus with a 2 foot octa, and the pictures turned out beautiful. So I personally would prefer a bigger one, but unfortunately at the event they just had what they had, and the 2 footer is what was there, so that's what I used. But if I can only have one, I would probably say get a 5 footer and a good friend to hold the 5 foot octa for me for every photo shoot, because you can get some really beautiful stuff with a 5 foot octa. It looks awesome. And Henry was asking why the octa. For me, the thing that I really love about the octa is just the quality of light that it gives you. So, if you're photographing somebody like a nice tight headshot, you get beautiful light on their face. You get nice, smooth transitions from highlight to shadow on the face. If you're going to shoot full body, you could shoot with a 5 foot octa and you get head to toe, beautiful soft light. But then if you want to make the light a little bit harder, you could do that. You could take the diffusion panels off, and it gives you like a nice circular throw to your light that is more like what you would see with available light, right? Because the sun is round, it's not square, it's not rectangular. So I feel like it just looks more natural when it's used in beauty and portrait photography and fashion photography. So the octa's always been like my number one. So Hero, when's the A7S III announcement? I was going to ask you that. I have no clue. I wish it was soon. I just bought two A7R4s because I love the advancements that they made with the eye autofocus for video. So I have one that I use for shooting stills, and then technically the other one's a backup, but I'm also using that to shoot content for YouTube and shooting videos, and yeah. So hope to see an A7S replacement at some point. That would be great. Michael, I rented the 70 to 200 G Master last weekend and the 100 to 400 a few weekends ago. Went to the skate park and got great shots with both. Can't decide which ones I like better. Do you have a preference? So I owned, past tense, I owned both. I have owned both since they were first available, right? So as soon as the 70 to 200 G Master came out, I bought it. When the 100 to 400 came out, I bought it. I've owned them from first days they were available. Today, I only own one of those two lenses, and that is the 70 to 200 G Master. So for portraiture, for what I like to do, man, 70 to 200 has to be right now for the Sony system specifically. It has to be the best, like top 5 best lenses for Sony right now. I would say at most focal lengths within that 70 to 200 range, it rivals what you would get with a prime lens at those focal lengths. Meaning, like, if you shoot with it at 85 millimeters, even though it's a telephoto lens, you're getting the type of sharpness and detail and quality that you would expect to see with an 85 prime. So it's scary. That lens is like scary good. So 100 to 400 is really good too, though. So but for me, being able to shoot at f2.8 is a big deal for low light stuff. The performance is really good on both. Surprisingly, the 100 to 400 has been kind of it was like a surprising lens for me. Like, I did a video on my channel here, which was a portrait. It was a mystery lens challenge with Manny Ortiz, and the mystery lens that I ended up getting for the photo shoot was the 100 to 400, and I was shooting indoors, and I was upset because I was like, man, of all the lenses that I'm going to get to shoot in this indoor space for portraits, and I got the 100 to 400, but man, the quality was really good on that too. Like, sharpness was great, details were great. A faster aperture would have been nice, so I could shoot with lower ISO. But still, with all of that being said, 70 to 200 is that's it for me. It's so good. It's really sharp. And Hero was saying the same thing. It's sharper. Just got the A7R2 on the low. A7R2 is good. Paul Stevenson, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, thank you for sharing your time and knowledge. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to take that $1.99 super chat and I'm going to go buy some cough drops, because if you can't hear it, my voice is starting to be toast. So sad. But thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for the support, and for the kind words as well. Michael, it's heavy too. Yeah, I mean, both lenses, the 70 to 200 and the 100 to 400, are heavier lenses, but optically, that 70 to 200 is no joke. I mean, honestly, it is top 5 right now, best that you can get. Let's see. Ed Horn, he says, picked up your Creative Live Powerful Portrait with Mirrorless Cameras course primarily because I purchased an A6500. Great course. I must have referred to it every month since you did it. Dude, that's so awesome, man. Thank you so much for picking that up, and really happy to hear that it's been like a resource for you. Thank you. And hopefully the YouTube channel continues to do that for you as well. I try to, on top of having, the Creative Live course, I have my Dramatic Portraiture 101 course, which is still on sale for $89 through my website. So, like, I have that, but then I also do the free stuff here through YouTube. So I'm hoping that the combination of, Creative Live, my YouTube channel, the stuff that I've put out in the past for Adorama TV and for Sony and for other channels, plus my own Dramatic Portraiture 101, that these things are all just reference material, so that if you're doing a photo shoot this month and it applies and it helps, great, use it. Maybe you do a photo shoot now and you don't do another one for another couple months, and then you can go back to the videos again and you can rewatch them and immerse yourself, and it could get you prepared. I try to approach every video, I try to approach it in such a way to where I could use it as reference material for myself. Sometimes I'll do a photo shoot, try a different lighting setup that I've never tried before, and it looks amazing, and the video is there. So if I forgot how I lit a shot that I really love, no problem. Just go back and rewatch my own videos. So I've even done that. So let's see. Michael, thank you. He came in with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, thank you for the advice. Honestly, it's my pleasure. I really hope that the content that I'm putting out here on YouTube is helpful. And, with that, I'm glad that you guys are all joining me. You could be doing any other thing right now this evening, but, you're here hanging out with me and listening. And so really appreciate your time. Really appreciate everybody joining in. If you guys, again, you see over my shoulder, I'm in New York City. So if you're in New York, come by the Sony Creative Space this week, because I'm going to be there all week. I'll be at Photo Plus, popping in and out, doing presentations. If you're here, Best Buy tomorrow, their Best Buy stage, 10:30 in the morning. I'm going to be there 30 minutes. We're going to be talking about posing all day long, and then I'll be doing some demos with Flash. So hope you guys can join. So with that being said, it's been a little while, so just wanted to jump in and say hi to you guys and catch up and let you know kind of what's going on. And I do have a lot more content that's going to be coming out here soon. So Michael's got another super chat here and a question. He says, sell my 35 Zeiss 1.4 now that I have the 16 to 35 G Master. So here's what I would say, and thank you again for the super chat. What I would say is this. So I have run into the same scenario, the same question that you had. And so I'm going to tell you my advice, and I'm going to tell you what I personally did. And that's not to say that what I did is what you should do, because I would never be so bold as to just tell you, like, yeah, I did the right thing, so you should just do what I did. I was faced with the same question and situation. I use my 35 Zeiss often, but I'm also well aware of the fact that the 16 to 35 G Master is one of the top lenses available right now for the system. So I use both. I ended up selling my 35 1.4 mainly because the 16 and 35 in like 95% of the scenarios did what I needed it to do. I don't do a lot of low light shooting. So if, for example, I was to be a wedding, and I do shoot weddings every so often, but if I did more wedding photography, then I probably would keep the 35 1.4 and I would keep the 16 to 35 because they would both be useful for different scenarios. But for my style of photography, most of the time I'm shooting either in good light or I'm bringing good lights with me. So I ended up getting rid of the 35 1.4 and just sticking with the G Master because it's so good. And so honestly, like it does everything that I need a lens to do. So that would be my personal advice for what I did, was to just keep the 16 to 35 because it's honestly, it's so good. And the cameras these days, I'm trying to open water, by the way, just to rehydrate here. Look at the size of this whopper of a smart water bottle. All right, hopefully my voice sounds a little better now. These cameras are so good these days that you can make up for the light loss going from 1.4 to 2.8 by just dialing up your ISO. So, you know, I'm totally fine if I have to go from 800 to, 1600 ISO. I'm fine with that. It still looks super clean. So if you're one of the people that you really like blurry backgrounds, obviously that's something that, from 1.4 to 2.8 is going to look quite a bit different. But I'm not big into, blurry backgrounds and things like that, as you probably already know from watching my content. I'm not the, like how you have channels where people are like, oh, they're bokeh whores and all this stuff. It's not me. I appreciate it in a good photo, but I feel like it's way overdone and it's way overused and abused. And so yeah, with all of that being said, it really just depends. If you shoot events and you do things of that nature, then you probably want to keep both, because there's two different tools for two different scenarios. But if you shoot in more controlled situations where you have off-camera flash and things like that, just keep the G Master. It's really good. So good question. Thanks again for the super chat. Let's see. Norm Henry, thank you. He also put in a super chat for $2.99. No question, but thank you for the support. Yeah, this is great. Got $9 in super chat tonight, so I can go get some cough drops and some more nasal stuff to get rid of this funny congestion that I have here this evening. But thank you all, honestly, for the support. It means a ton. And for those of you that are watching as well, not to take time to promote this, but it is going to be ending soon. So I feel like I should tell you guys so that you guys don't say, oh, you didn't know, you didn't tell me. whatever else. But if you're watching this right now, so I've had a special for the last couple of months on my full tutorial called Dramatic Portraiture 101. It's on sale on my website, miguelkalis.com. Click on the store link and you'll see it there. I made this tutorial a few years ago because what I saw in meeting with people face to face at workshops, reading your comments and stuff on YouTube, people were asking about different elements of my photography. And what I realized was that the times that I would take to explain or answer that specific question that someone gave me, it wasn't, in my opinion, even though I answered the question to the best of my ability, they would come back to me sometimes a few months later and show me the pictures. And then, yeah, the thing they asked me about helped them. However, something else was off that they didn't ask me about. And then we ended up having a conversation about that. So what I realized was that there really wasn't, I don't have anywhere that I have a whole approach to how I create an image, right? Like what my thought process is, why I choose one light over the other, why do I choose one lens over another, how do I retouch a photo, why do I choose Capture One or Lightroom versus something else, when do I use Lightroom versus Photoshop. You know, all those different types of questions are things that never got a chance to really, you know, dig really deep into. So what I ended up doing was, over the course of 6 months, my video guy Chewy and I got together. We shot a whole bunch of content that basically covers lenses, different lights, different modifiers, different everything, things that I like to use and why I choose to use those things and when I decide to use them and whys and all that good stuff. And then we did 4 different photo shoots, 4 different people. I broke down in those photo shoots exactly kind of what I was going for, what was the thought process creatively, how did I mess it up, how do I fix it. So you get 4 photo shoots from start to finish. And then what I did was I recorded my retouching process for those 4 images. And instead of doing the same retouching process 4 times over, what I did was I have like an easy, an intermediate, and then an advanced way to retouch, which is like the way that I do it for, you know, my portrait work. So that retouching process took, you know, a little over an hour to do, and then the other retouching courses might have been like 45 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. But you get the easy, intermediate, and the more advanced methods of doing it. And so 4 different photo shoots, 4 different ways to retouch using a bunch of different programs, including Capture One, Lightroom, Photoshop, exposure software. And I show you everything. Show you why I chose to do things, how I do it, how to retouch, dodge and burn, using clone stamp tools, all the different things that I do in my process for retouching my portrait work. And put it all together in one video that's like almost 7+ hours long. I mean, it's a huge download. Probably the most proud that I've ever been of making anything, because it was a lot of work that went into this tutorial. But for the longest time, the tutorial was $300 on my website. And last month I decided that I'm going to do a promo for a short period of time, have it for $89. And the response has been crazy. I mean, it seems like a lot of you in the community have wanted to learn. And within the first 2 months, so far, almost 2 months, I've sold a lot of copies, close to 1,000. So it's amazing. Like, the support that you guys have given has been great. You guys have really been finding it useful, and I've had the emails and a lot of love coming back afterwards for, you know, kind of detailing that process. So all of that to say that October 31st is the last day that it's going to be available for $89. I don't know if I'm going to put it on special again or when it's going to happen. I mean, that's the first time since 2016 that I did it, and it really only happened because I did a workshop. And usually when I do my in-person workshops, I do specials. And I ran a special at an in-person workshop, and someone was asking about buying it after the workshop. And so I just said, let me just make it for a short time, make it on discount for everyone. And then it just kind of stuck for the last couple months. So October 31st is it. 89 bucks, Dramatic Portraiture 101. If you want to see everything that I do from start to finish in a way that I haven't been able to show here on YouTube, and probably will never fully get a chance to do, check it out. It's a great course, and worth way more than the 89 bucks that's that I'm asking for. And honestly, it's worth more than the $300 that I'm asking for on the website. At one point, I had really thought about just splitting up the whole tutorial, and instead of it being one 7-hour course, making it into like 3 or 4 different tutorials. But I said things in the courses where I referred to other chapters, and I figured, man, if I split it up at this point, it's going to be a problem. I probably shouldn't do that. So my loss in not thinking about, the content early is your gain. So 89 bucks. If you guys want to support the channel, and at the same time also learn a ton about how I do what I do, miguelquiles.com/store. You'll see Dramatic Portraiture on sale. And actually, if you want to see some highlights, I have a video on my channel as well, where you can check that out. So anyway, it's getting late here in New York City. Thank you guys all for hanging out and joining me. Thanks for everyone who donated through Super Chat as well. Really appreciate that. And again, if you're here in New York, I'd love to see you guys at the Sony Creative Space or at Photo Plus. So at any rate, next week, hopefully I'll have some new content on YouTube here for you guys to watch. But thanks again for the support, and hope you guys all have a good day or a good night wherever you're watching from. See you later.